Up next, William MAITRE has over a decade of experience leading teams and projects. He and his company, Aya Analytics, are turning tech into something as friendly as a neighborhood chat. Will has been seen a lot, but what really gets him excited is blending AI into daily chats and tasks. Will believes tech should be understood and handled with care. It's not just about getting answers, it's about feeling heard and understood. That's why they aim to make every interaction feel genuine and warm. Will is on a mission to make tech feel more human, help businesses run smoother, and always offer a friendly chat. Please welcome Will MAITRE.
We're going to go ahead and start with William, because William is working on the AI right now. He is doing a lot of innovation on AI, artificial intelligence, right? So, William, here's my first question for you. In a world saturated with data, how can businesses effectively harness AI to make data-driven decisions that lead to real impact and growth?
So the best way to do that, because I think we all know, if you get on the internet, you look things up, you just get a ridiculous amount of information, right? So as business owners, it can get really overwhelming. And so how you can leverage AI to help you is, sometimes you have third-party providers. I think you mentioned CoStar, correct? Yeah. And they will, get all this information for you, help distill it, so that way as a business owner, you can see it, and you can react to it, fast, like Fortune 500 companies, yeah. And so as a business owner, what you can do is first understand what your data is, right? And the best way to start is your own data, right? What do you have? What can you work with it? What would you like? What story do you want your data to tell, right? Once you figure that out, then you're better positioned to find some outside sources that can help you with your own storytelling internally.
Wow, okay. So how can AI help businesses improve customer interactions and drive growth, especially for those just started to explore its potential?
In the world where we are right now, so probably heard of ChatGPT and that type of thing, is taking the world by storm. And really the number one way people are using it is to generate content. Write an email for me, summarize this for me, those type of things. And so what we've done over at Aya Analytics is we think we can humanize AI a bit. And so one of the best ways to use AI is we have a web assistant. And so it acts almost like a 24/7 customer service type thing. And based on the prompts that you put in there and what you train it on, we can train that web assistant on your own internal information. It really helps to humanize yourself with people who land on your site. Because you figure the old way is you go on somebody's site, click on the About page, you read the home page, maybe you look at a few case studies, and then you're like, should I fill out the contact information? I don't know, right? But you can leverage AI to put a web assistant, or AKA chatbot, on your site, an intelligent one that you can train on your own information. So if that person's like, well, let me talk to the chat, using the same way you talk to ChatGPT, using natural language, just regular conversation, that more intelligent web assistant serves as like your customer service figure. So it can answer questions in plain language, plain English, and then also helps not only collect that lead for you, but it can also recommend products too if you have it do that. So that would be the best and easiest way as a small business owner that you can tap that in there and not have to disrupt like your process that you already have, because the web assistant can be trained on your own processes. So it helps you compete with people like Microsoft and those type of things. We have really smart chatbots working for them.
Okay. Any questions for William?
Can we repeat the name of your business, please?
Yes, it's Aya Analytics, AYA. Analytics, Analytics. You're welcome.
We're going to go back to William, but go ahead. You have a question.
I was just curious, you mentioned ChatGPT. Are you seeing any other AI that are starting to come up and battle it that maybe we should be focusing on more? Or for now, if you're starting out, go ChatGPT?
So in the AI space, as far as regular people usage, there's only 3, right? So you have ChatGPT, OpenAI. You have Google that has Google Bard, right? And the funny thing is the people who came up with ChatGPT used to work for Google. That's how they got in. And then the third one is run by a company called Anthropic, right? And so what's happening right now is that Microsoft saw the potential and they actually bought ChatGPT. So if you go and use Bing and you're doing the Bing chat, it's actually ChatGPT you're actually using. They put their technology on top of that. Sorry. And so Google, they're basically, we're going to continue doing what we're doing and those type of things. And then Anthropic, Amazon just bought them, right? And so you'll be seeing a lot more AI things coming to your Amazon platform to make it easier to find things. And they want to use it to empower Amazon resellers, right? So that can help them, find more people and make more money. So those are really the big 3 out there. And then probably a close fourth is this thing called Llama 2, which is what Facebook's AI assistant's built on.
So how many here are using AI right now? Wow. And how are you effectively using your AI? Is it really good? Yeah? Only 2 thumbs up?
My bio that CJ read was written by ChatGPT.
Oh, there you go. So I brought William here. I've worked with him on so many different types of services that he offers. He actually did a graphic design for me because he does movie poster graphic designing. He came up with this AI, new technology that he's doing, and I'm like so blown by what he does. If you need someone who is going to really help you step by step, William will be able to do that. And we're going to go back to him. We have more questions for him. After hearing what Sherry shared, Ralph, and Teresa, as an AI innovator, how do you apply that to what they were saying in terms of their business?
I think the thing about AI, I think what I want people to understand is it's more of a productivity tool, right? So it helps you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish quicker, right? And you can't remove the human element, right? And so with my business, we try to marry that together. So for example, for what you're doing for your brand launch, right? You have a very unique story. And so if I was working with you, what I would do is with the PR and everything, whatever channel it is that is where everyone's gonna go, right? We can put together a web assistant and train it on your book, like points of your book, differentiators, things like that, your own personal story. And so when someone lands on that website and the little thing pops up, for example, we'll call it the mommy bot, right? So it'll say the mommy bot. And so it'll say, I'm the mommy bot assistant to, and did you know that we have a book that can help you, accomplish such and such? Would you like to know more information about it? So it's more of a conversational approach to it. And so the person would type, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And it understands the fact that it says, yes, that sounds pretty cool. So then the next thing would say, Bob would probably say, great, right? This is what the book's about. These are some points, right? Which of these points do you want to know more about? And it actually engages the bot in conversation. And it kind of boosts up that know, like, and trust factor, right? Which, if everything works correctly, along with your website and the PR that you're putting out there, will eventually boost up your sales as well, right? And people signing up too. For the coach, let's say you have a website and you're trying to mimic what AAU basketball does, right? Funny enough, I was stationed in Hawaii. So let's say you're trying to do that in like Y&I, right? Which, some people say, why, say you shake your head, right? Y&I don't want to be there at night. However, right, you, with what you do, being, native there, your center doesn't have to be there. What you do doesn't have to be there. However, you could go, right? You can hand out flyers. You can do these things. You can have a QR code on there. If they scan the QR code is linked to the actual AI web assistant. So they're not going to a website. They're actually going to the web assistant that can educate them on why, A, they should join your team, the life lessons that they'll get, so it's more than basketball, right? And so the AI assistant actually can help put that forward for, we'll call it the 1 million butterfly challenge, right? And so how that can help is because you've been to Africa, because you're doing these things, and you have your 501c, nonprofit, what you can do with that is we can then create I call it a prompt, which is a set of instructions, right? We create a special prompt, but in that prompt, we make sure that the tone and the voice reflects as close as your enthusiasm for this would be. Obviously, it's not a human, but we can closely get to human-like interactions with that. So as you're pushing this and people are coming to your site, right, the bot helps to bring that forward, right? So as they're looking at your nonprofit, a little thing comes up, it asks, how can I help you? And if someone, let's say the person's like, well, I don't know where to start. I just found this online. Like, great, you can start with the Million Butterfly Challenge. You want to know what this is about? Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And then it starts bringing them and talking to them. So essentially, you're having, I call it 24/7 customer service, but you're having an interaction and people feel more comfortable with it, right? And so this is the reason why people like Microsoft and these things are paying like literally billions of dollars for this AI stuff, right? Facebook just launched their AI assistant, right? It's called Meta Assistant. And so there's two versions of it. One is going to be to help you with Facebook stuff. But they thought it'd be kind of cool if you were able to talk sports with Tom Brady, right? Just ask different things. Obviously, it's not Tom Brady, but they flew him to where they did that. They interviewed him. They asked him questions. And some of them, they got paid for that kind of stuff because their time is valuable. But they understand that sometimes, right, people would like to glean some insights, right? For example, Marie here, she's done a lot of things, right? The more I talk to her, the more I realize she's done. And, the knowledge in her head, right? Well, on her Fire Up Connect site, she can distill portions of that knowledge on there. And then you can actually ask the boss some questions and it would answer based on what's her experiences with that, right? And then if it ever gets, hung up, the chatbots that are out right now, they're called rule bots. I follow these rules. Rule bots, right? They follow these rules. The ones what I do are more intelligent. So they realize at a certain point, okay, well, I don't have any more answers to give because I'm not trained on what they asked me. So instead of the bot just breaking, right, which is why people are frustrated with it, it says, at this point, it seems like you need a little bit more custom help. And so we'll ask them for their first name, last name, email address, phone number, if that's what we want to get. And then it will go ahead and put that in your CRM. If you have a staff that answers, the bot can actually connect to a live person.
One thing that I am curious is, William, we started talking about AI, but we don't know anything about your background. Tell us what your background is.
So originally, I'm from Haiti. That's where that's where we're from. So my story is somewhat closely related to your story. And so my dad in Haiti was a pastor at a church. My mom was a school teacher. So that's where I get the learning from. But in about like 1986, the dictator that was there, they overthrew him, so he left. Whether true or not, people decided that if you somehow had a good job, that meant you were probably in leagues with them. A woman came from my dad's congregation, came by and said, listen, I just need to let you know that your name is on the list. And so pretty soon people are going to come looking for your family. and not in a good way. And so what I remember, I was only 6, but what I remember is, one day here I am at home, type of thing. The next day my dad comes home. Basically, we packed everything that we could carry, and then we just left. Car sitting there, house sitting there, just had to abandon the whole thing. Hid out for a little bit until our visas came through. My dad had some help from people at the church to help him fill out paperwork so we can get a visa to come here. But it takes a long time for a visa to happen, so we hid out. Eventually, that landed us in New York, and then we ended up in Massachusetts, where I grew up. But, it taught me a lot about, resiliency and those type of things, and that led me into the Marine Corps. I did that, and then I ended up in the Army. I was a chaplain candidate in the Army, so like a minister too, I'm a Baptist minister. And that's where I really got a sense of talking to people, working with people, being able to empathize with people. But, that's personal-wise. Work-wise, I've held a lot of different positions. I have a bachelor's in business with a concentration in HR. And so I've been able to kind of work doing that way. I've ran pediatric offices. I've worked in HR anywhere between from being a recruiter to an HR analyst. It's where I got my really, really good at my data analyst skills. And so, I'm able to really manipulate Excel to do what I want, right? I can build dashboards, business intelligence, those type of things. What led me to Marie, right before COVID hit, I was laid off from the pediatrics office. They kind of saw COVID was coming, and so it was one of the situations where it was like last hired, first fired type of things. So I was laid off, and sitting there, bills are still coming in, trying to figure out what you do. As she articulated on a lot of times, it is a mindset thing. And so I said to myself, well, I can either be here, feel sorry for myself that I got laid off, but what am I going to do about it? Thinking back on my skill set, I'm like, what can I do? What do I know? I do have the ability, thank the Lord for that. I can look at a lot of information and distill it really quickly for what I want. And so using that, I taught myself, I went to the Art Institute and looked at their curriculum, and I created my own between Udemy, YouTube, books, and just really taught it to myself and identified something in business I was missing. When I looked at everybody's posters, everything, they all look the same. A person, arms crossed, those type of things. But then I said to myself, well, I don't have a business degree, why would people listen to me? I mean, graphic design degree, why would people listen to me? I said, well, if I can do something other people can't, that would make them listen to me. And I said, who are the best storytellers? Movies are the best storytellers. So I figured out that in the realm of business and how people design things, sometimes it can look very cold, right? And so I took these principles that people would use to design movie posters and get you to want to go see the movie. I applied it to the world of business. I was able to gain traction on people who had way more experience than me, but because I understood a color means this, and it resonates subconsciously with us because of this, right? And so through all that, I got connected with Marie, and now I'm here.
Okay, question for you.
Yes.
You think you can create a movie poster for Sherry, Ralph, and Teresa?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. You got a movie. You're going to be a star. Okay, questions for our panelists? It's a lot of information. Go ahead.
So how do you gain trust with AI? I play with it. I ask them questions that I know the answers to and see what happens and stuff, just trying to figure out what that is all about. But I just have this trust issue in the back of my head, It was like they were quoting what I know. So that made it good, but I just don't know how. And when I see people talking now, it's their faces, it's them, but it's AI doing all the chatting. And I find that odd.
Yeah. So with AI, you have to have an intention, right? You have to have an intention and a goal. So what you have to ask yourself is, what do I want to do with it, right? Let's say, what do you do? Start there.
This was about water exercise aquatics.
Okay. So let's say, okay, you want to figure out, should I take this, right? What's the benefit of the water exercise, those type of things. So what you can do with the AI, what I like about OpenAI is that it has different plugins. So there's a plugin, it's called Web Pilot. So if you download this plugin to OpenAI, let's say you have 4 windows open on the water exercise classes. You can take those links, put it in there. So now it is not ChatGPT guessing what water aquatics is. It will take these links, it'll actually go to the website for you, scrape the home page, bring you back all this information. And then all you have to do is say, summarize what you have found. And it's going to take 4 pages, 4 different websites. It's going to summarize it for you. So now you can trust the information because you found those links. You found this website. And so now, once it summarizes for you, now you can ask it questions on what it found. So now it's information that you can trust, right?
Okay.
And then it helps build confidence.
All right.